Hey, everybody. Today I'm going to be interviewing Christopher Key, who I've done a few interviews with. He's interviewed me a couple times, and now I'm going to interview him. This guy might be the most interesting guy in the world. Put the Dos Equis guy aside. Christopher Key is into everything. He is everywhere, and he is trying to help humanity. And one way I can, and from self-experience and others, one way you can measure how well you're doing at spreading truth is by how many enemies you have. So, Christopher Key, I'm going to throw it off to you. You have probably more enemies than I have, and great job. Keep going. So, tell us what you want to talk about today.
Love it, brother. Wake up or wake up. I'm here in Colombia, the country where anywhere they're going to build a smart city, my brother, we're going to build God's community that we call home, self-sufficient, living on the land, teaching people how to fish, teaching people how to get back to God's country, all about God. And they're killing us with the frequencies. They're killing us with the water, the food, the supplements, the air. They're killing us with everything. And it's time you people wake up or Waco. What happened in Waco was one of the most unbelievable things. We can't even have time to go into that because it was a psyop. It was MK Ultra. We have now evidence that David Koresh was, I repeat, was MK Ultra. He was CIA. That's a whole nother story that I broke about 2 months ago when I got kicked off of off of X, when we exposed the CIA, because that operation was everything to do with the Iran-Contra ordeal, where they were landing their planes in Waco, Texas, at the David Koresh Ranch, and they were dropping off the cocaine, and they were picking up the guns and the women and children and taking them to Iran. This is crazy. But anyway, what I want to talk about, a lot of your listeners don't know who I am. I'm the least of these, and they can't stand that because Christ is in me. My name is Christopher. My last name, never forget it, is Key. God's given us all the keys to open up the doors that Satan never wanted open. But we together have to open those doors. We got to quit being divided because you're Jewish, I'm Catholic, you're black, I'm white. We all bleed red. And this is mass eugenics. They tried to kill us with that did not work. So now what are they doing? They're trying to divide us and have war with each other. And they're putting in HARP. They're putting in dues. I mean, the atrocities that are happening all across the country is not, I repeat, not an act of God. It's an act of war, brother.
Christopher, I just want to interrupt one thing. My main platform is YouTube, so be careful on what you say about the C word and the V word. Don't just use code words. We know what you mean, because it'll get taken down in 4 seconds.
Okay, well, again, I am the V police, and I used to be one of the most respected men in health and wellness. I brought to market a device called the Bod Pod. Every major athlete in the country has utilized that. Every major university has bought it, the Air Force Academy, the Naval Academy. This one got me well respected. I've been part of 4 national championships, 3 Super Bowls. I've been on the cover of Sports Illustrated, been on 60 Minutes. Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, they've done everything they can to silence me. The government came in 11 years ago, fined me hundreds of millions of dollars. They just fined me another $6 million 16 months ago. Why? Because I help people without drugs, without chemicals, and without surgery. And God, through me, does it very well. My awakening was 28 years ago, July 30th of this year. And this is where I had my greatest accomplishment in life, brother. And that was the day I became a father. And everything changed for me because my twins were born with the most rare disease on the planet called phenylketonuria, otherwise known as PKU, where my twins will never eat protein. No milk, no chicken, no cheese, no fish, no birthday cake, no bean protein, no protein whatsoever. If they do, it becomes toxic, goes straight to the brain, and it causes the most extreme mental retardation there is. Okay. Why is this important? Because I used to own a bunch of health clubs. I used to love the V. I used to have clinics at my health clubs where we promoted and I paid for people to get the V. And I thought they cured polio. I thought they were the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then when my twins were born with this rare disease, I went to my pediatrician. I said, look, doc, my kids have this rare disease, and you're wanting to V them today. So what can you tell me about the V and PKU? And he said, Mr. Key, I don't know anything about the V and PKU, but what I do know is your kids are part of this new schedule where they're going to get 72 Vs before they're 18 years of age. And I said, Doc, I had like 8. Why 72? And his answer Dave, was, I don't know. And I'm like, you don't know? I said, well, look, Doc, I'm a huge researcher. Are there any studies to show me that that new schedule's safe? And he said, Mr. Key, there's thousands. No, there's tens of thousands of studies. And I said, great. Can I see one? He said, do what? I said, can I see one of those 10,000 studies? Go ahead.
Not that everything has to be related to flat Earth, but that's what Globers say. There's thousands, tens of thousands of proof for the globe. And I was like, can you show me one? And they can't. Back to you.
They can, and that's where, you know, this cognitive dissonance, you know, this paradigm where people don't want to be wrong because it changes their whole paradigm. Brother, I love it when I'm wrong, because when I'm wrong, I've learned something, and I don't want to live with my head in the sand. I want to know the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
That is what a truth seeker is. Somebody that's willing to find out when they're wrong. That's how you become more truthful.
And again, and this is where, you know, you people that are listening, your audience, I know, is so much more awake. But please, you don't know what you don't know. And I tell people, do not believe anything I say, because I'm bat crazy, okay? But do what the Lord commands each and every one of you to do, and that is test and prove all things. Not some things, but all things. And I promise you, if you do this, He'll show you the truth. And the truth shall make you free. And that's what I've been on my entire life. And when my kids had this rare disease, and, you know, he said, there's 10,000 of studies. I said, well, great. Can I see one? And he said, right now? And I said, yes. You got my precious twins on the table. You're about to inject them. I've got to see a study. He's like, Mr. Key, nobody's ever asked me that. I'm like, well, dude, I'm asking you, and I got to see it. He said, look, I'm very busy today. I don't have time, but I'll have it by your next visit. And I said, okay, you're not touching my twins today, but, you know, he says, I'll email it to you. So we leave, brother. A couple months go by. We get nothing in the email. We go back in for a checkup, and the nurse has 3 shots out for my son, three shots out for my daughter. They're about to inject them. And I said, ma'am, you know, Doc didn't give me any of those studies. You need to go get him, and we need to talk. Okay. So Doc comes in. He will not look at me, Dave. He's like, Mr. Key, there are no studies. But Mr. Key, they have to be safe. They've been approved by the CDC, the FDA, the AMA. You don't trust us. I'm like, dude, I said, you told me there were 10,000 of studies, and now there's not one, and you want me to trust you? And I said, brother, I just watched you inject that child across the way, and now you want to inject my child? I said, brother, you took an oath to do no harm. And there's no study that this new schedule's safe, and you want to inject my children? He says, Mr. Key, you're getting awful loud. I said, you dang right I am, dude. There's no studies, and you want to inject my children? I said, dude. He says, Mr. Key, I think you need to leave. And brother, I left that day.
Yeah.
I left that day, and I was a truth seeker before that. But I had been indoctrinated into the system. You know, I went to college at the University of Alabama, and I was brainwashed into those things. But because of my twins, it woke me up. And I realized that they were poisonous, number one, with the V. And then the V took me to water. Water took me to food. Food took me to supplements. Supplements took me to herbs. And then herbs took me to frequencies. And my life changed. And frequencies took me to flat Earth. And I just realized that so many things we've been taught are a lie. And I want to know the truth, because this temple that God created will heal itself from any and all things. Brother, go ahead.
So as you're going through this truth journey, you're getting more and more haters, of course. Then, excuse me. Then when you get to the point where, you know, you said frequencies, and then you found flat Earth, when you found out about flat Earth, did you go, oh, great, now I have to add this onto the pile of things that people just accuse me and ridicule me of? How was that?
Well, that one was kind of simple. The one about piss, that was really bad. When I talked about drinking your own pee-pee, that was the one that Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, freaking Washington Post, Rolling Stones, they went crazy over. But again, you know, flat Earth, once you go flat, you can't go back. And it's one of those things that it was beautiful for me, brother, because I was looking up being a godly man, being a Christian man. I'm like, look, how in the world God created all of that? And there's nothing else out there. And that's where I was going down that rabbit hole of aliens and whatnot. And when I finally realized that we're the center of everything and there is nothing out there, there may be all kind of stuff over there. Who knows what east and west, but up there, that's
South.
his throne.
What's
And
south?
I realized that
You know what's east and west?
Huh?
You are east and west of yourself because east and west are circles. South is out there. South is out there. So south
Okay.
is every way away from the center. So what's out south? Just throwing it out there.
You
Okay.
love it, love it, love it. Let's break topic real quick. I've been trying to reach out to the kid that got arrested in Antarctica. Have you heard from him? Does anybody know anything about him?
No, I heard about it. I haven't looked into it. I wondered, is this a true story? Is this just another story to make people say, oh, never try to fly to Antarctica? Or did it really happen? I'm leaning towards it really happened, but I have no evidence of it.
Well, I've been trying to find him and track everything down because, supposedly he's still in Antarctica. Who knows what will happen to him? So let's keep looking into that because, again, we don't know, like you said, that'd be a great story to keep people from going there, most definitely. But how does this kid that just got his license fly to 7 different continents?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but getting to Antarctica without being getting all the way there before being seen. I don't know. Again,
well,
I haven't had time to look into it, so I don't have a solid opinion on it yet.
Well, supposedly he went to 7 continents and he was going to the 8th one and he put a fake
Flight plan,
plane lodge in or whatever your thing is, and then he said he was in distress and that's how he diverted to Antarctica, which makes no. But again, that's his story and he's sticking to it supposedly.
Yeah, it's a cool story. Might be true, might not be true. I don't know. I don't have any facts on the story, so. But I appreciate you looking into it. If you can get in touch with him and let's try to get some more data, that would be amazing.
But brother, I'm trying to, and let me go back to the V's, okay?
Yep.
Because one of the things that really interests me when I was telling the story to the once 2-time senator and 4-time congressman in Louisiana. Who was a medical doctor. I told him the same story, and I said, you took an oath to do no harm. And this medical doctor, who was a senator, I can't remember his name, in Louisiana, said, Christopher, do you know that the medical doctors no longer take an oath to do no harm? Did you know that, my brother?
I did not know that. That's interesting.
The reason why, and I forget the year, you have to go pull it up. I think it was 1972, but when they passed Roe versus Wade, which I think was 72, they could no longer take that oath to do no harm because they were murdering our children, brother.
Interesting. I did not know. That's very interesting.
Well, this was, like I said, a 2-time senator and House of Representative of Louisiana told me this. But that being said, I want to keep going on to these V's because this is so important because the V's are coming back, okay? And the Trump and Robert Kennedy Jr. are going to tell you that you should trust them because they love you. They really love you, and they're going to create a safe V that you need to take and you have to take because you got to protect grandma, and they would never harm you. And I'm here to tell you, okay, there will never, ever be a safe V. The only safe V is the one not giving. And why do I say this? And what evidence do I have of this? Okay, don't believe me. Go back to 2010. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled Wyatt, pharmaceutical company Wyatt versus Bristolwick, that all these are unavoidably unsafe. And this ruling in 2010 basically said, if you are so retarded and you trust the pharmaceutical companies and the television, and you choose to inject any V into your temple, death and any ill will, you deserve it. And the most you can do is go to V court, and the most you can get if your child dies or is damaged is $250,000. And the television says they're all safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. But do you know that in 2012, VAERS did a report proving that less than 1% of the population actually report to the V damage.
1% of the people that have a damage report. 99% go unreported. Right.
1%. And do you know that the V injury report, or vaccine injury act, the V injury act has paid out. The most they can get is $250,000. Less than 1% have reported, but $4.2 billion has been paid out to those that have been damaged, and only 1% have reported. So if you people believe that it's safe and effective, and you want to believe that your government loves you, God help you.
Let me chime into that. If you think about it, if you believe in the globe, you believe in evolution, you believe in the Big Bang, you believe that, that there's a chance or totally that we evolved from pond scum. And therefore, we're not perfect. And therefore, you need to have things that science has figured out to make you healthy versus, flat earthers know there is a creator, know that we are created. And then how would God say, oh, I'm going to make this place. I'm going to make people, but I'm going to make it so, guys that go to Rockefeller funded schools need to inject, toxic chemicals into you. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is these are all based on germ theory and the V word of the things that are living inside of you, which isn't real. It's not, it's all been disproven. So you're taking a completely debunked thing, a lie, you're putting toxic stuff into you, and you have to believe that that is helping you. I hope this stays up. Be careful. Don't say the V word again. Okay. I'm going to bleep it out.
Again, this is where we people have to wake up. Why is my audio's not working? We're still got good audio though, right?
Your audio is good. Your audio is fine.
Okay. I'm just going to go.
I think your microphone. I think it is working. Good.
Okay. Well, again, guys, I created the V Police after my children were born because I knew that nobody was policing the CDC, the FDA, the AMA, and somebody had to. And I was screaming and hollering about the Vs for nearly, it'll be 27 years, July 30th will be 27 years. My kid's birthday is on July the 30th. They're not talking to me. That's another story. I want to wish them happy birthday because I'm blocked. I can't even talk to them, unfortunately. But anyway, because of them, I knew that people were not policing the CDC and the FDA and the AMA, and I started screaming and hollering about this. Everybody said I was bat crazy, and there's all my medical doctors who were my best friends. I used to train all these very well-respected medical doctors who are like, Christopher, this can't be real. If this was real, everybody would know about it. There's no way that what you're talking about is true. And I got very depressed because there was a time, Dave, that I'm like, okay, well, maybe I am crazy. I mean, I'm dyslexic, I'm ADHD, I'm LD, I'm DD and dumber. And I was like, well, maybe I'm just making this up. And I prayed to God to please show me the truth. And then COVID happened. And COVID was such a blessing for me, David, because you people finally begin to question things, and you guys finally begin to see that this whole thing was a scam. And this is why it's so important, because so many people in the truth movement said, okay, look, the COVID V is bad, but all the other ones are safe and effective. I mean, make sure you get the Hep B, and make sure you get the Gardasil, because those are safe. Let me tell you one thing real quick. If you only get one thing out of this program, please, you mom and dads, comprehend this. Before your child is 24 hours old, please know that God created that baby perfectly. That the medical doctors have tested mom, and they know mom doesn't have hepatitis. Okay, so now the only way that precious child can get hepatitis is to go share needles or go have sex. So please, somebody help me comprehend. Does the establishment think that our precious children, after 24 hours old, they're going back to the neonatal and they're back there having an orgy, and they're back there injecting each other with
But
intravenous needles. I mean,
they
wake
do.
up. I mean,
But
surely to God, our kids are not going to have sex and share needles till they're at least 6. Okay,
but you
wait
left
till they're at
something
least
out. You left
6.
something out, Christopher. If one of those drug addicts or orgy people touch the doorknob in the nursery, if the baby reaches up and touches the doorknob, he or she could get the hepatitis, right?
Babies, have you seen reach up touching the doorknob?
This is the world we live
I mean,
in. Wait, I'm glad you. What I love about you, you're out for the truth, and you see the humor in it. I mean, you have to laugh, otherwise you're going to cry, and if you don't laugh, you're going to die. So it's beyond absurd. This entire world, everything about it is beyond absurd.
and again, this is where our children, and more importantly, my grandson and your grandchildren have no future. If we, the people, don't stand up, we don't speak up, and we don't speak out, because they are killing our children. And one of the things I wanted to come on here today is they're not just killing our children, which is beyond terrible, but grandma and grandpa, they're killing them. And I am facing 3 months in prison because I tried to protect my neighbors next door, who the government has now kidnapped. Let me tell this quick story, okay?
Yeah, tell it in detail. Tell it about tell what you told me before the show.
What I've had happen is elderly abuse to my neighbors. I have neighbors that have lived there next to me for 40 plus years that are twins. And they both have 2 separate homes, but they now live in one of the homes right next to me, and they own the one other twin owns a second home that's paid for. They own both the homes.
Big, beautiful homes.
I mean, again, these are $350,000, $400,000 homes, very, very nice homes, and their husbands have died. They have no children, okay, and they're identical twins, so they live together and they take care of one another, and they have a great pension, a great rate retirement, a great Social Security. And what is happening all across the country, this is not just in my neighborhood, because I had 10 other stories that were brought to me that I reported on, and then this happened right next door to me. Well, what has happened across the country, DHR, CPS, whatever, these protective services, whatever agency, alphabet soup agency they go by, what they're doing is everybody loves free food. And when you get older, you don't like to cook, and you don't like to have fast food every day. So they're having these wonderful organizations that bring them Meals on Wheels that bring them free food. And thank you, Meals on Wheels, for the free food. But what Meals on Wheels is doing is they're going in and they're asking questions. How do you feel today? Do you know where your keys are? Do you remember where your grocery list is? And the first time they say, well, you know what? Gosh, I did forget my keys the other day. I don't know where I put my grocery list. Now they have the opportunity to have a wellness check, and they bring a medical doctor in and they do a wellness check. And with my instance with my neighbors, this wellness doctor said, look, it looks like you guys both have a little bit of Alzheimer's, a little bit of Parkinson's. You guys don't need to be here by yourself. You need to have, some of your family members come in here and stay with you. Well, these people don't have any family members. So since they don't have any family members, the government wants to take care of them and protect them. So they take them to court. And now my neighbors have been awarded state. Okay. And my neighbors who own 2 houses that are bought and paid for are now living in a 40 by 40 box that they're paying $7,000 a month. And they have a nurse there 24/7. I don't know how much that's costing them. And I found out about this, so I go up to visit them, and we're going to let you play. Anybody can play the video.
I'll link the video below. It'll be pinned in the top comment.
But please watch this video, because I go into my neighbors, June and Joan Bailey, and I began to conversate with them, and they start bawling, crying, saying, Christopher, this is prison. We can't go to Bridge anymore. We can't go to the grocery store. We're stuck here. We can't even go eat with the other people in the old folks' home. That they're keeping them isolated by themselves, like they're in solitary confinement in this 40 by 40 box. And all of a sudden, the police show up. And you can see in this video where the officer brings me outside and says, who are you? And I'm like, well, who are you? I mean, and she's like, look, you can't be asking them questions. I said, the hell I can't. We live in a free country. I can ask them anything I want. No, you can't. They're ward of state. And the conversation goes on. And then finally, she tells me I have to leave. Threat to go to jail because I've been to jail enough times. And, like I've got to fly back from Fiji in a couple months for another court case. And that's just what they do. They get you in the system and it just screws you up. So stay out of the system is the best thing to do. But anyway, I had to do this for my neighbors. So I leave and I go to some conference or something. And I fly back into Birmingham. And they call me and it's like, Christopher, you said you were going to help us. This is getting worse here. All this stuff is going on. Please come help us. Please come help us. And I hang up the phone and I'm pissed, David. I am really pissed. And through the grace of God, I don't know if it's the grace of God or just whatever, the little Meals on Wheels lady pulls up and I'm pissed. And she gets out with the food because my next door neighbor, who's also 78 years old, who has no family, who lives right next door to me, or my mom and dad, they're bringing him food. So I break out my camera and I start filming her. And she's like, you can't film me. I was like, yes, I can. No, you can't. And I began to film her and we go walking into the house. And this guy's name is Uncle Clifford. I call him Uncle Clifford. I've known him for 40 plus years. I have an open invitation to his home. So I walk all in the house. She's like, oh my God, you're trespassing. You're trespassing. Call 911. Call 911. And I'm like, look, I have an open invitation here. And then finally I look at Clifford and I say, look, are you okay? Clifford said, yeah. He said, can you please leave? And I said, fine. So I leave. Okay. And next thing I know, 6 police officers show up. And again, they try to intimidate me, and I fear no man. I respect peace officers, but police officers who are doing nothing but collecting taxes, I have no respect for you. Zero respect for you, okay? Because you work for us. And if you're not keeping the peace, all you're doing is protecting the corporation, and that pisses me off, okay? So the first officer tried to intimidate me because I was standing in the freaking street, okay? My own street, getting out of my car, and then I walk over to the side, and then because I'm kind of loud, as you know, he tells me that he's going to arrest me for disorderly conduct because I'm being loud. And I'm like, dude, whatever. So anyway, the conversation goes on, and another officer shows up, and then 4 officers others show up, and then finally they realize that I haven't done anything wrong but exercise my First Amendment right of free speech. So as they're about ready to leave, I say, officer, you need to let that lip tard know that she can't just call the police because I hurt her feelings. And on camera, that officer says, sir, you can't do that. I said, do what? He says, if she hears you say that, that is what do he call it? He called it can't think of what he called it. Not disturbing the peace. He called it something. It's in the video.
Is it harassing?
Yeah, it was harassment. It was harassment.
Yeah.
He said, that's harassment. And he said, look, I'm going to warn you today, but you can't do that. I said, what? That's freedom of speech, dude. And I was like, look, I'm not going to argue with you. So what? So I left. And I drive to a conference. I'm in Tennessee. Sasha Stones has a big thing there where they're doing some stuff. And I'm leaving. I'm coming back. And I got my vaccine police mobile. And I get pulled over. And this is another quick story. I get pulled over in my vaccine police car. And the officer says, I pulled you over, sir, because your tag is not registered. I said, look, officer, you're lying. Okay, I know my tag is registered. He says, well, there must have been a glitch in the system. I really pulled you over because I think you're impersonating an officer. And I said, really? Back the police, these kill, and I'm impersonating an officer. I said, really, dude? I said, you need to let me go. He says, I'll let you go. And I got all this on video. I'll let you go when I get ready. So he leaves and goes back, and he gets on there. 35 minutes later, my brother, he comes up, and I said, look, don't say one thing. I said, look, I charge $1 million a minute. You're at $35 million. You need to let me go. He said, sir, I'm sorry. You're free to go, but before you leave, you may want to know that there's a warrant for your arrest in Alabama." And I said, "Do what?" He said, "Yeah, there's a arrest warrant for your arrest in Alabama." I said, "You got to be kidding me." He said, "No. So if you go to Alabama, you need to know that." So I said, "Look, I really appreciate you telling me that." So I leave, David, and I call up and I realize that Fultondale Police has issued a warrant for my arrest. And what they wanted to happen, David, because my Uncle Clifford across the street told me after I found this out that the police every morning was going down my mom and dad's neighborhood. So what they wanted to happen is that they wanted to see my V car out there and kick down mom and dad's door and then beat the hell out of me and arrest me. But through the grace of God, God told me this, and I went and turned myself in. And now I have to go before the judge on December the 11th because I called this woman a lip-tard because I was protecting my twin neighbors, June and Joan Bailey, and my Uncle Clifford across the street. I mean, this is the world that we're living in, and y'all call me crazy? I mean, seriously, brother?
It's amazing. No one's really talking about this, and it's right in your face. So well done, Christopher.
Well, brother, again, I have to stand up for those that can't. And, this is one of the things my father taught me was to always stand up for the little guy. And that's what I've done my whole life, and it's kept me in a lot of trouble. But I fear no man, I fear not Satan. And this is one of the things that I really want your listeners to really hear me. Is my video okay? The sun coming up? Can you still see me okay?
Yeah, you're looking a little angelic if you want to rotate to the left a little bit. Otherwise, it's fine. We can still see and hear you. There you go.
So how's that?
A little better.
So anyway, a little better.
Yeah.
Well, we're right here in Columbia, and anybody that wants to come to Columbia, brother, trips to Columbia.com is an amazing place where you got all this fellowship and frequencies like nothing I've ever seen. Beautiful air to breathe, unbelievable water from a well. I got my feet off right now, grounding. We're going to go down later this evening, down this monster mountain here and go swim in the river. They're putting the zip line up here. Amazing things. I'm going to the lost city of gold later this week to go check this out. But Columbia is the destination place to go. Trips to Columbia.com to get all that taken care of. You can come here, do horseback riding, I don't know what happened there. As soon as we started talking about taking care of the temple, they stopped.
That's just a coincidence. Yeah, I'm here. That's just a coincidence, right?
Always a coincidence, but hey, I love it. It's God telling us we're on the right path. And again, it's all about taking care of the temple. And that's why, I want to offer right now to all your people out there, frequencies. God spoke and we were. Everything is frequency. You're
breaking up again.
Nicholas, say it again.
You're choppy right now. You're a little roboted. All right, go ahead. Try now.
Okay, again, it's all about taking care of the temple. You can't go preach God's word if you don't take care of your temple. And God spoke and we were. Everything is frequency. I believe the most important people that walked the face of the earth, number one was Jesus Christ. Number two was Nikola Tesla. Number three was Royal Raymond Rife. A lot of your listeners may know. If not, real quick, 1913, Royal Raymond Rife was given 16 terminal cancer patients by the equivalent of the American Medical Association. And in 30 days, he cured 14 of the 16. Took him another 30 days to cure the other two, 100% cure rate. And most people don't have a clue who he was. Go Google him, look up his universal microscope, the most powerful microscope on planet Earth, where he could magnify a cancer cell while it was still living and disintegrated. It's real. Frequencies are real. And the best way for you guys to see that they're real is this little paint chip right here. These right here, if anybody goes to knn.world, not CNN, don't be a lip-tard. Okay, it's Christopher Key, KNN, keynewsnetwork.world. Click on free paint and energy chips. We'll ship these anywhere in the world except my great state of Alabama. If you live in Alabama, I'm sorry, I can't ship to you. Call the governor, call the lieutenant governor. But if you know somebody in Mississippi or somebody in Texas, or maybe you can ship them to David, and then David can ship them to you. I got no control over that, okay? But real quick, guys, this little chip right here is what got me to every NFL locker room in the country. Major League Baseball, the NCAA, because this little chip, if you have any pain in your body, you take one, put it where the pain is, take two others, put above or below. Instantaneously, the pain is greatly decreased, if not gone, instantly. No drugs, no chemicals. Why does this work? Because this right here is a hologram. Okay. Holograms are storage centers for information. A lot of your cell phones, your laptops, your electronic devices have holograms in there because that allows them to store more mega memory. So what I've been able to do through the grace of God is take those holograms and using Tesla technology, Rife technology, and scalar waves, embed those frequencies of God, for God, and with God, and then you put them in the energy field, and then it signals your body to do what God intended to do. The best analogy I have is if I asked you guys how you got vitamin D, most of you would say from the sun. Okay, and I would say, how? How do you get it from the sun? You would say, we absorb it, Christopher. That's what we were told. No, you were lied to again. Okay, you don't absorb the sun. What happens is the sun is the resonant frequency of vitamin D. And then when it comes into your energy field, it signals your body to produce vitamin D. The body is electric. If you guys have not read the book, The Body is Electric by Dr. Robert Becker, I encourage all you to go read that book. That book helped me change and helped me see that this body is electric. It's not chemical. So get away from Rockefeller medicine, which took God's perfect herbs that were perfect, and then they added petroleum to them that all they do now is put a Band-Aid on a problem to cause another problem, so that then you have surgery. If you have surgery, you have rehab. If you have rehab, you become an addict, and you get stuck in that merry-go-round. You don't want to get stuck, do you, brother?
Hey, let me comment on those chips. Years ago, I heard you talking about these chips. You send them out for free. You don't even charge for postage. And I'm like, come on, a friggin' sticker. How's it going to do anything? And I was like, you know what? Free stuff. And you sent me a bunch. And I had some shoulder pain. I put it on. I was like, all right, it's just a placebo, right? Not true. I have these things. I love them. I have them on my phone, blocking the radiation. And it's amazing. So I got another complaint, though. People are going to say, first, the people that don't believe. But I think most of my audience, we've hit the frequency stage. We understand that this is all frequency. And we understand that things can transmute into other things. Like how does a chicken lay an egg when it doesn't have enough calcium in its body to make that egg, right? So it's transmuting stuff, and we look at the giant trees and what's going on there and everything, turning into something else. So we can get past that. Now, flat earthers are very conspiratorial. They're going to be like, wait a minute, free? Nothing's free. Hey, you know what? There's some truth in that, except if it's coming from someone like Christopher Key. And so here's the biggest complaint. This is last time we talked about this. People say, he wants my home address. So I'm giving him my name and my address. And so the accusation here, Christopher, I'd like you to comment, is that you are compiling a database on flat earthers.
Yes, you found me out, brother. That's what I'm doing. Yes, I love it.
I say for people that are concerned about that, find somebody with a P.O. box, get a P.O. box, whatever you want, figure it out, or just look at Christopher's energy and say, is this guy really doing anything evil? No. Go ahead.
Well, guys, again, I love the skepticism. I love the caution, and you have to, because sadly they're compiling everything, and unfortunately, as much as we try to keep this encrypted and whatnot, there is nothing encrypted. I mean, they know everything there is, and you can't live in the whole thing that I have to say about that, brother. You can't live in fear. If you're going to live in fear, then you better not go out of the house. Okay, So again, if you want these for free, yes, you got to give me your name, address, and email, and I'll ship these anywhere in the world. These are for your cell phone, your laptop, like you said, any electronic electronic device. This is going to help you deal with the bad frequencies. These are for pain. Going back to the placebo effect, my professors, Dr. Joe Smith and Dr. Bishop at the University of Alabama, they always taught me if you didn't understand something, you brought it back to the lab and you did a randomized double-blind placebo study. And when I came up with this and worked with all these major athletes, and they looked at me like I was a witch doctor, like, Christopher, what the heck? What'd you just do to me? And they would take me to their team and they'd go on to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Super Bowl, or the NCAA championship. Yes. Or the PGA championships. Yes. Or the MMA championship. Yes. I mean, again, this is all documented. And again, it had nothing to do with me. Okay. All I did was given what was me by God, giving it to these athletes, because I knew, David, that nobody would listen to Christopher Key. I've studied these Satanists for 27 years, and I knew that they were using Hollywood and the athletes to control the masses. So me knowing what I know about science, for every action, there has to be an equal and opposite reaction. I was like, okay, why can't God, through us, use these athletes in Hollywood to release the masses? And we did, and it got so popular that Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, sent all my athletes letters saying if they did not disassociate from me, they would be suspended from the league. It then went to the Major League Baseball, then went to the NCAA, and then went to the PGA. This is crazy. Go read about it. You can go pull the story up, Sports Illustrated. We'll put in the link so people can read about it, because this is real. Because I knew nobody would listen to little old Christopher Key, but you would listen to a Ray Lewis, you would listen to a Mark Ingram, and Nick Saban, you would listen to those guys. You would listen to Mario Lopez. You would listen to Stallone. This is what we were able to get involved with, and this is real. And don't believe me. I love it, David, when it does not work for somebody, because I want to know why God made you different so I can go back to the lab and make this technology better. But again, let me go back to this. I believe there is no disease. All there is lack of cell-to-cell communication. When the cells quit communicating with each other, it causes inflammation. Big Pharma has called that inflammation many things like cancer, COVID, measles, mumps, herpes, AIDS. I believe, and it's my opinion, I'm not a medical doctor because I don't practice anything, okay? God showed me the truth, and it's inflammation. And all you have to do is make the cells communicate again. One of the simplest ways of doing that are these little chips. And we've got other technologies, the cloud, the Tesla bed, the Rife technology that raises their vibration even more. Go outside and get into God's frequencies up here on the mountain, which I am right now, and it raises your vibration. It allows you to connect to Mother Earth. It allows you to connect back to the frequencies of God, for God, and with God. But this is the first step to beginning to get healthy, I believe. But then, masterpiece. This is a miracle. If you guys have not gotten this from David right now, please, Dr. Robert Young's in prison right now. I was at his sentencing hearing 2 months ago where they're giving him 5 years and 8 months because of Masterpiece. It's a miracle. 200 plus peer-reviewed published papers proving the nanobots, the nanodots, the mercury, the aluminum, the snake venom peptides, the graphene oxide, disconnection of the Wi-Fi that is in the IP addresses that they just published that study back in with David Icke's people, that it disconnects that. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no, when I first heard years ago about they're going to be putting nanotech in us again, just like the stickers, I'm like, oh, come on, really? And now they're doing tests with people in no technology zones out in the middle of nowhere, and they have a Wi-Fi detector or MAC address detector, and then they don't detect anything. Then somebody walks in, and all of a sudden, 1 or 2 MAC addresses show up, and then after using Masterpiece, they go away. So this is a study that they just did. It's undeniable. I just told you I took mine about 10 minutes before we started the show. It tastes like sugar water and not sugar water, salt water. And it's amazing. And again, I say this in all my videos. I put a little commercial in. The reason I put it in is I don't care. You can get this anywhere you want. And, get it from Christopher, get it from Pro, get it from me. I don't care. I just want people to have it because detoxifying ourselves is going to be the key to staying free.
But this is one of the most important keys because, again, I'm probably one of the most healthy men in the world. I mean, again, I am so healthy, but still, I took a plane flight over here. I drink the water on the plane because I was very thirsty and I forgot to freeze my water this time. One of the ways you can get through TSA is to freeze your water. They get really pissed because it's not a liquid anymore.
Wait, I didn't know that works, but I found another way and I tested it and it works. You can say it's medical grade water and then they do a little test and then they let you bring it in. Just say this is medical grade water.
That
They bring you to the side. They don't dip anything in it. I was like, what? They're gonna dip something in my water? They just literally wave a pH stick over it, and then they're like, okay, you can go. Medical grade water. It works. I did it in a New York City airport.
Well, I love that. What I normally do is freeze my water because again, I go to the freaking airport, I get thirsty, and I have to spend $10 on bottled water, man. I'm not going to do it. Hey, let's go there real quick before we go back to the last of this. I know we're running short on time, but one of the other things, guys, because I'm flying so much, I don't go through the radio detection. I mean the microwave detection because it radiates your body, and I found ways to do it. One of the ways that really pissed everybody off is I love to play their games, okay? And I'm not gay, and if you're gay, I love you, God bless you. I think you're living in sin, but again, God bless you. I'm not gay, and I don't want to be touched by a male. So if you opt out of the microwaving, you have to get, molested, okay? So what I did was I identified as a woman. And I had to have a woman touch my pecker. Not that I wanted her to, but again, I didn't want a guy doing it. And
Not that you didn't
that
want
video
to.
went that video went viral. And what I realized later on, because everybody gave me heck, or your buddy Tim gave me heck. He's like, why are you making the women? I was like, look, I don't want to be touched by a guy. So what I studied it more, and I realized one of the things I can do is tell them I can't raise my shoulders. And now they put me through the metal detector. But now they've got this new device that you don't have to raise your shoulders. You just have to do this. And I tell them I can't do that either. So if you just tell them you can't raise your shoulders, you can't move your shoulders above your arms, they put you through the metal detector, and then they wipe your hands to make sure you don't have any radiation, and then you're free to go. So again, guys, do not submit. I submit to nobody but my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And this is what they're wanting. TSA has nothing to do about keeping you safe. Zero, nada, zilch. This is all about submission, and I will not submit, brother. Any comments on that?
No, I agree. They're making travel more and more difficult, and it's a whole nother show. The whole real ID thing, it's getting difficult. Who knows what the next year is going to bring?
And this is why we, the people, have to stand up. We have all the power. They work for us, and we have forgotten that. And that's what I try to do every single day, is let everybody know that when we unite and quit being divided, because again, you're Jewish, I'm Catholic, you're black, I'm white, we all bleed red, okay? And this world is being extinguished. They have their infrastructure built, okay? At Georgia Guidestones, I was one of the last people to be there. They only want 500 million. So that means 6.5 billion of you have to be exterminated. And they try to do it with COVID. It didn't work. So now they're wanting to create war so that we kill each other, because that's the easiest way to terminate people is war. And then the other way is go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your point. The other way.
Another one is a natural disaster. What is happening right now is not natural disasters. If you go look at all this flooding, I've got video after video where it's not even freaking raining, and it's flooding all over the place. This is an act of war, and this is a way to exterminate the people, and we people have to wake up. HARP is real. Dew is real. It's not Mountain Dew, okay? It's direct energy weapons, brother.
I want to give you a little bit of good news. The Georgia Guidestones say they want the population under 500 million. So you said 6.5 billion people need to be eliminated. That's pretty horrific, right? But they're lying about the population. I think it's closer to 3 billion. So only 2.5 billion people have to go. That's way better. Come on.
And this is where you can't trust anybody or anything. And not me, not Dave. This is where you have to do your own research and realize that this planet is not warming. This planet has everything we need. It's alive. And the planet will take care of itself. And if it needs to get rid of us, it will, brother.
Chris, before we run out of time, and I don't know what else you want to talk about, because you have so much to talk about. Your work at Waco, we could do a whole show on that. The DEW attacks in California. You were walking around the properties there, showing the grass, beautiful green grass around completely disintegrated houses. But one of the things that you sell, not to make money, maybe that's a side effect of it. You sell a very great supplement that I've been taking, and I love it. And I think you want to talk about that. And I want you to talk about it And they'll be, oh, here comes the grift. Here comes the grift. No, no, no. Christopher's just like me. I only talk about stuff that I absolutely love and swear by. That works great for me. Get it or don't get it. It's your temple. It's your deal. So go ahead.
Well, brother, this is the most important icing on the cake to really take back the temple. This is a product that's got me so much trouble. And I want to start this with is why are they killing the chickens? Do you want me to tell you why they're killing the chickens, David? The reason why they're killing the chickens is because the chickens lay the beautiful egg that you talked about. And that egg, my brother, contains the most amazing thing called IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor. That is the building block for life. Don't believe me? Go ask Dr. Judy Mikovits. Dr. Judy will tell you IGF-1 derived from deer antler velvet, building block for life. Go ask Dr. Lee Merritt. She'll say, I took synthetic HGH, and then Christopher brought me IGF-1 derived from deer antler velvet. My IGF-1 levels are off the chart. But don't believe either one of them. Go any anti-aging doctor in the world, you go ask them. If you want to stay young, if you want to slow down the aging process, what do we do, doc? They'll say, synthetic HGH, human growth hormone. I can't afford it, brother. It's about $4,000 a month. It's synthetic, manufactured by Big Pharma, so I won't touch it. And you have to inject it into your subcutaneous fat. When you do that, your liver transfers it what's called IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor. That is the building block for life. Dr. Latini has deer farms in New Zealand. His deer, their antlers are literally the fastest growing substance on planet Earth. They grow an inch a day. 1 full inch. If you go there for 24 hours, you could physically watch the antler grow an inch. Why does it grow so fast? The high concentration of IGF-1 that's on the tip of the antlers, he's been able to freeze dry it out without harming the deer in any form of the fashion. They're not harmed. They live like royalty. Extract it out, put into a lipo delivery system that his scientists invented, that they patent, that gives the body 98% absorption. Everybody laughed, made fun of, said there's no way that's possible. The patent ran out a few years ago. Now, any supplement company that has half a brain, my brother, they're using Dr. Lentini's lipo delivery system. But more importantly, he has the clinical research to prove that if you use the 300,000, it increases your IGF-1 levels by 60%. This is a game changer. This is so much more affordable. And if it was me, and what we're doing with my brother David here is if you go to knn.world, at the very top it says get IGF-1. You click that and you go down, you order any product on the page, any product, you get another bottle for free of that same product, and you get the 300,000, the one that increases your IGF-1 levels by 60%, you get that for free. Okay, that's a $250 bottle for free, plus whatever bottle you buy for free. So if it was me, brother, what I would do, because you men, excuse me, are a bunch of, you're a bunch of.
Well, the testosterone level has dropped. It used to be 6, 7, 8, 900 was the average back in the 80s, and now men are down in the 300s if they're lucky.
Well, brother, right now, you'll see on the television that lies, and more lies. You'll see the prostitutes and the talking parrots tell you, if you want to increase your T levels, come to your medical doctor. We'll take care of you. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to put you on a steroid. All the stuff back in the 90s that they told you was bad and was terrible. Oh, my God, steroids are bad. Well, they're going to put you on that. And if it's done inappropriately, but even if it's not done inappropriately, they want you to be on steroids. Now, they're going to put you on cypionate, enanthate, propionate. Those are usually the ones that your medical doctor will put you on. And what happens when they put you on Men's T, which is a steroid, what happens when you inject it into your bottom, your testes says, hey, I got testosterone now. I don't have to produce. And it already wasn't producing. So now it stops. And you go from taking a quarter cc to a half a cc to a third of a cc to a whole cc, and you become a customer for life. And they love that because then they have to give you blood pressure medication because they say you got high blood pressure. And then they give you cholesterol medication and you're retarded because do you know the only way to produce testosterone is cholesterol? Do you know your brain is made up of 90% cholesterol? And they want you to lower your cholesterol because they want you to be a pansy, that they want you to be feminized. And they've done this by design. So if it was me, I would go buy the Men's Edge. You get another bottle for free and you get the 300,000. This is a cycle that is a game changer. You know, what I do and what you have right now is the 600,000. We just came out with a 600,000. It is off the chart. And if it was me, what I would do for at least 90 days is the 300,000 and get the men's edge, and this will get you started. And then next month, what you would want to do is get the 600,000, and you're paying less than $250, where you would be paying $4,000. But look, you can buy the 25,000 for $50, and you women, we've not forgotten about you, because you women, you want to stay young. You want to stay beautiful. You are the child bearers, and without you, we can't reproduce. Okay, because a little hint there for all you trannies out there: a male and a male can't procreate. A woman and a woman can't procreate. That is the best population control there is. It is what they're doing right now, and you guys don't even comprehend it, and it's so sad. Their God is Baphomet. Their God has tits and has a pecker, and this is who they worship. And God did not make you that way. What happened, sadly, is you've been filled full of these toxins. And our brother Matthew with Masterpieces told me he's had so many people that were gay, and they started taking Masterpiece, and they realized that they are who God made them. And this is because you guys have all these toxins in there, and they're messing with your brain, and then you're watching all this programming. So, guys, go to knn.world, not CNN, knn.world. If you're a male, get the men's edge. If you're a woman, we got the women's only product. If you need weight loss, you get that. You get another bottle for free, and you get the 300,000. This is how you take back your temple, brother. I need warriors out there with me. I'm tired. I've come here to Columbia to kind of rejuvenate, because I know we're going to win this war, but I need other men. I need other women to be speaking up and speaking out. And look, you have all the power. They don't want you to comprehend the power that each and every one of you individually has, where you can take the information you've learned today from me and Dave, and you share it with one person. One will turn to two, two will turn to four, and before you know it, as Dave would say, 3.5 billion people around the world, because it's not round, it's flat, around the world will finally comprehend the satanic Luciferian mass eugenics that is happening right here, right now. And I do what I do, brother, very simply for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and for my grandson, because my grandson, David, will never look at me. And it's really hurts right now, because I haven't talked to him in 3 months. He will never look at me and say, Peepaw. He calls me pee-pee. He's going to call me Peepaw, because I drink my own pee-pee. That's another story. But he'll never say, Peepaw, why didn't you stand up? Well, why didn't you speak up? Why didn't you speak out? Brother, I'm doing my part. I've got a lot more to do, and I promise you, through my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Christopher Key will get it done. But are you doing your part? Okay, a lot of you don't want to be boots on the ground like me and David, and go to jail like I have many a times. But you can share this information. If you share this, and if you like it, if you make a comment, just tell us where you're from. That gets around the algorithms. This gets around the AI. We need your help. Okay, please go to David and buy his app. This app is amazing, brother. And again, I know you don't want to sell these things, but this is how we fund the operation. We're not funded by big ag or big government. We don't have all these farmers.
I want to make a point, though. So all the stuff we told you, the Masterpiece and the IGF products, if that resonates with you, try it. If it doesn't, don't complain. Don't call us grifters. We're just sharing information that works for us. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, go watch something else. That's it. So again, I tell people, if it doesn't resonate with you, don't do it.
Brother, look at these clouds coming in. You know, one of the beautiful things here in Columbia, you see real clouds. They're not spraying the skies here in Columbia, and that's why I love being here in Columbia. Trips to Columbia.com to check everything out. Your free pain and energy chips. Go to knn.world. Don't be a retard and go to CNN. It's knn.world. Spell it. WORLD. Don't be LD and go to .com or .org or .info. .world, okay, brother? Don't forget it. .world.
I'll link it in the pinned comment along with those videos for people to watch. And just a separate little side note here, people that, a lot of people like, when are the conferences starting? There's a whole bunch of conferences this year. In October, I'm going to be at TrutherCon in Texas. I think it's in Texas. Yeah, in Texas. Check it out, truthercon.com. And then a couple weeks later, I'm going to be in Arizona at the internationaltruthexpo.com speaking there. That's more of in the desert, camping. There are hotels there. It's going to be a great conference. And then after that, in 2026 in February, I'm going to be speaking at Antarctica again, and early bird tickets are ending as soon as they're done with their current conference that's happening early next month. So you can get your 10% off with FE Dave at anarchapulco.com, or just in the app, go to the shopping section. You click the little shopping cart, and all those 3 conferences are right here. 1, 2, 3. Bam. There you go. Chris,
Brother,
where are you going to be?
I want to be at all 3. I want to be at all 3 of those, so please send me that information so I can get that booked. I'll be there also. And then before we close it out, I want you to come back on the show. What did you hear about the Tesla rocket that exploded that we didn't hear anything about? I mean, that just went dark. Did you hear anything about that?
I'm so burnt out on all this fake rocketry and stuff, and people like, well, why would they make a rocket blow up if it was fake? I'm like, to make you believe that it's real, right? So I didn't even look at that one. I was just like, you know what? Rockets are fake. No one is ever on a rocket other than Mad Mike Hughes, who wasn't trying to prove flat Earth. He was trying to do an Evel Knievel record-breaking jump over a canyon, and he ended up killing himself. But no one is ever on those rockets. And
brother, please.
You're good. Good.
Let's get you scheduled back on, because I want to go over all this again with all the fakertry of flat Earth. So look at your schedule. Let's get that taken care of. I so graciously appreciate you letting me come on here and tell my truth about my neighbors. And like I said, guys, don't believe nothing. Oh. They're coming for your children. They're coming for your grandma, your grandpa. They're coming for you. And you sit around and do nothing, then you deserve everything that's coming. And I don't mean to be bold and ugly, but if we don't stand up for our children, if we don't stand up for our grandparents, what are we doing? We're part of the problem, and it's happening. And it may not be happening to you right now, but it's going to be, brother.
Yeah, I hear. I kind of don't want to end the show. It looks like you're about to be consumed by a cloud. It's coming in.
Hey, it is beautiful here in Columbia. Love you, man. God bless you. KNN.world for all the information. Wake up or wake-o, brother. They're coming for you. Let's stop it. Share this information far and wide, brother.
Thanks, Christopher. Thanks.
Love you, brother. God bless.
David Weiss here. I've been taking Masterpiece for probably over a year, maybe even 2 years. And the detox I feel from it is amazing. I have never felt better in my life. I know that sounds like a lot, but I sleep better. I have amazing dreams when I take it at night. I take it twice a day most of the time, but sometimes I only take it once a day because I forget. But it's definitely an amazing product. And now with the new research they've done where it is literally getting rid of the nanotech in your body, I can't imagine not having any. So there you go. That's my testimony, and I love the stuff, and I'm never going to stop taking it. Hey, everyone. If you enjoyed this interview, please help support my work and help wake up others by referring or gifting the app to at least one person today. By doing that, you're going to help wake people up and help me to continue doing other interviews like this. With the censorship out there that's going on, it's very difficult to find relevant information. And the app, as you know, brings people to the truthful information of our world. So help support my work, help support your efforts in waking up friends, family, and strangers. Gift them the app or just recommend the app. And let's make 2025 the year Flat Earth breaks free. Check the links below for information on how to gift the app or just refer the app to others, and use your referral code to earn Dome cryptocurrency and a free subscription. Thanks.